Welcome everybody to the January Town Hall meeting. My name is Laura Schroeder. I'm the president of the International Nanny Association, and this is my first time hosting, and I'm so excited. So welcome. Um, let's see, what am I supposed to do next? Okay, reminding you that we are recording. So anything you don't want in the posterity of the INA archives, keep to yourself. But this will be recorded tonight. But please feel free to share anything that you'd like to share. We are open and willing to hear all of your thoughts. And we'd ask you to please stay muted unless you're speaking. I'll try to remember that myself, just so we don't have a lot of background chatter and we can hear the people who are speaking. And I'd like to introduce the board members and staff members that are with us right now. I know people will be hopping in and out throughout the night, and that happens with everybody. But we have Sue Downey here. If you could just give us a little wave. She's on our board of directors. And we have our executive director, Marcia Hall, here. So give us a little wave. Excellent. Okay, well, welcome again. And if you would like to, when you speak, if you could please introduce yourself and just tell us where you're from and what your role in the nanny industry is, that would be great. Should we do that now, Marcia, or just when they speak?
I think it's fine when they speak.
Okay, when you speak.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, then I'm going to turn the mic over to Marcia to let us know some of the
Oh, did I lose? Is that just me that lost? Laura?
wait, I muted too
Yeah,
early. Sorry.
I was like, is that me? Did I lose you?
About muting, but then I kept talking. Yeah, we had a board meeting yesterday, so we have lots of events to tell you about. And here is Marcia, and now I'll mute.
Hey, everybody. I am going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show you um, about some of the events that we have going on. Sorry, it's always, I got to get this window, this Zoom window out of the way so I can present this. So we, like Laura said, we have a lot going on these days with INA. We've got our summit that's coming up, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But for now, we'll walk through some of the things that are happening. So our Mentorship Monday, we have every single month on our members only Facebook group. So if you are a member of the INA and you're not part of that Facebook group, I highly encourage you to check that out and join us. And then Monday, February 15th, we're going to be talking about building a stronger INA. So getting some of your ideas and your feedback on how we can make INA stronger. And then on Monday, March 22nd, we're going to be talking about building a team. And Sue, you're on real quick. You kind of had that up. Can you just clarify for me, is building a team mostly about like building a business team, or is that support groups, any kind of team?
Any kind of team, even
Okay.
a team between nanny and parent. It could be that kind of team, or kids and nannies, just
Awesome.
basic team building.
Perfect. That's a great topic. So I definitely encourage you to join us on that. We have a couple webinars coming up, some really great offerings. Thanks again to Sue, who is putting all this stuff together. We just had a couple in the last week, actually, that have been really fantastic. But January 23rd, so next weekend, pretty sure that's next weekend. We've got a COVID webinar support webinar. We're going to be talking with a nanny, a newborn care specialist, an agency owner, and a payroll service company about insights and new beginnings. So like, how has COVID changed our industry, what we think is going to stay and what we think isn't going to stay, what, you know, where we're moving, and just kind of talk about the effects of all that. So that'll be exciting. And then on February 9th, we've got another diversity webinar, Ally versus Accomplice, how you can use your privilege, or how I can use my privilege to enact lasting change. And that's with Yvonne. She was actually one of our speakers a couple months ago, and she was really well received and everybody loved her. So we are really excited to be welcoming her back. We have a couple of recent recordings that you might want to check out on our YouTube channel. Just search INA Nanny, our diversity webinars. The Roots of in Context and Our Current Reality, as well as Imagination and Practical Skills for the Road, both taught by Olivia Samples. She was really great, so that's some really good information. If you're interested in our summit and you want to know what to expect, you can go and find our What to Expect video that we did. I spoke with Laura and with Rachel, a couple board members, who kind of walk through what you can expect at our virtual summit, March 13th. And then you can check out all of our town halls, including last month's December town hall, if you'd like. A couple other dates to keep in mind. February 15th is going to be our board of directors nominations deadlines. Our board of directors, our service award pin applications and our meritorious service award nominations are actually opening tomorrow. So you can expect an email sent out about that, as well as social media, and it'll be all over the place. If you have any questions, you can always reach out. But the deadline to get your nominations for board of directors, and I think that Laura's probably going to tackle a little bit more about that too, is February 15th. February 15th is also the deadline to get your registration for the summit at the early bird price of $89. It goes for members, it goes up after that. So you'll definitely want to meet that deadline and get the cheapest price you can for it. Our next town hall is February 17th. We'll have more details about that coming soon. And then of course, our virtual summit, March 13th, very exciting. We're really, really excited to bring that to you. I'm working with the team right now to build the inside of our summit, to put all the pieces together. And I'm really excited to be able to show you guys in a couple weeks what it looks like. We've kind of showed you the templates that we may be using and some of the options, that we're going to actually get to show you what it looked like inside in a couple weeks too. So keep on that. And then March 22nd is the deadline for both the service award pin applications and the meritorious service award nominations. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. Any questions on any INA things going on? Laura, did I miss anything?
I think you got it all. There's more happens every week. So
Yeah.
So keep your eyes on the emails and the president monthly, what, I don't know, we keep changing the word, but Sue?
Wait, but we also have the opportunity for you to get involved with INA coming really soon too, if you are interested in serving on the board, right, Marcia?
Yes, and I did say that.
I'm sorry.
Board nominations. I said I think that Laura's gonna go into that a little bit more.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
No, that's okay. Yeah, board nominations.
Close. They open tomorrow, and they're gonna close on February 15th. Yep.
Okay, well, now it's the time in our evening where I get to talk about myself, my favorite time of the whole day. My name is Laura Schroeder. I'm your INA president. I became a nanny kind of by accident. My background is in social work. I went to school and grad school in social work, and then I had my family, and my first two children were born with autism. And when I researched the right kind of therapy for them, it was this in-home therapy. And so we got the therapists that to come to our house, and I had to stop working outside of the home because someone needed to be home. And because I worked in social work, you know, my husband made more than I did. So, so I was elected to stay home. Well, I can't not work. I'm one of those people that always has to be doing. So I started a family daycare, and I ran a state licensed family daycare for 8 years out of my home in New Jersey. And I loved it. It was great. It was super fun. And I did that while my two boys were getting the autism therapy that they needed with their therapist. But of course, when they were finished doing that and they started going to regular school, I said, well, I'm going to go back and do social work. That's what I got my degree in, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Well, I did. And my heart wasn't in it anymore because I just love being with children. And so my husband said, no more in the house. You know, I'm done with that. I'm done having every single room in my house look like a daycare center. Forget it. So I eventually started nannying, and actually that was even better for me. It was truly my heart's path. And I got into the INA because I truly believe that whenever industry you're in, you should join the whatever the industry I forget what you call it, but the organizations of the industry that you're in. I did in social work, and I did as a nanny. So I went to a nanny palooza conference, thanks to Sue, and I joined the INA, and I joined NACI, which is an education thing, and I joined all these things. Well, I couldn't afford an INA conference when I was a younger nanny. And not charging what I should, as many of us do when we're younger. And so I applied for the endowment, which is something that INA offers every year for the conference, and I won one. And I got to go to conference for free. I mean, I had to pay my expenses, but I got the conference fee paid for, and I went to my first conference. Well, that was it. I was hooked. If you get to go to an INA conference, do it, because they're fabulous. Plus, it wasn't just the conference, it was the people. It was getting to talk to people, talk to the industry leaders, and meeting the people who I really wanted, just like the Nanny Palooza, same thing as Nanny Palooza. Both conferences, fabulous. And so I wanted to be like that. And I continued to up my game. And one day they asked me if I wanted to be on the board of directors, and I said, sure, why not? So I joined the board of directors, and then a couple of years later, they said, do you want to be vice president? I said, sure, why not? And I tried that. And then Tanya Sakowicz said, hey, would you like to be my co-president? I said, sure, why not? And I did that with Tanya for a year, and then she left, and I became the sole president, and so here I am. And I really do love it. I love the organization. It means a lot to me, in my heart, and I love the people that I work with. And that is how I got where I am in the organization. And I love being a nanny. I'm currently the nanny for two little ones, a 5-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy in Charleston, South Carolina. And I work about 60 hours a week, which is crazy. Plus, I have my own family. I'm married to my husband for 34 years, and we have 3 children. They're in their 20s, but as I told you before, 2 of them have autism, so they live with us, and we still, deal with their issues. My daughter lives in DC amongst all those issues going on right now. And so it's crazy. Then I, of course, do all the president stuff, which is about 10 to 20 hours a week and more during the busy times. I talk to Marcia almost every single day. That's kind of the role of the president. We work things out, and we talk about what's going on, and I have to approve every single thing that goes out, everything that you read, every social media post, every written thing, every email. I read and approve. And the reason for that is we want to make sure we have a consistent message, and that everything is going out the way we want it to be, that it's not, all hither and yon. So everything is going out in the same way. And that's really a professionalism thing that we're trying to do. So that, I think, is me, but I'm happy to answer any questions if anyone has any questions.
I just need to say, Laura, she always tells that story like so humbly, like, oh, somebody just asked me to do this, and I said sure, and asked me to do this. But she's really a great leader, and I don't. She's very humble about it. But I just need to say that she's really good at what she does.
It's how it happened.
She does it with a lot of other things in her life. So I just want to, it's really, she's very humble, and just acts like it was nothing. But she was asked to do those things for a reason.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I would have said no, but I felt a pull, and you have to feel a pull, or you wouldn't do it all. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And I said I believe in the mission, and I've always believed that my core mission from the beginning of joining the board was we can do more together than we can do separate. And I've always felt that there were so many, newborn care specialists against nannies, or agencies against nannies, or, poor nannies against richer nannies, or, all kinds of divisions. And I've always just felt strongly that we need to try to work together as best we can and heal the divisions. And that's been one of my biggest personal goals to work on in the INA, is to work to, heal some of the divisions that we have suffered from. And, it's a big goal, and there's all kinds of pieces, but, there's lots of other people that are working on that as well, but that's always been something important to me. So, so that's where we are. Okay. So
before we move on from that, does anybody have any questions about being nominated for the board of directors?
Oh yeah, I can talk more about that too. So tomorrow we open up the board of director nominations, and anyone who is an INA member can be nominated for the board. We do ask that you have been to a conference, but that can be waived from my understanding if under certain circumstances, but we would prefer that you have been.
Because we didn't have a conference last year.
Right, especially since we haven't had a conference, but we ask that would be a preferable. And there are certain things, there's going to be, when you get the email tomorrow, there are certain steps that you have to follow if you'd like, you can nominate yourself. You don't have to be nominated by somebody else, but somebody else can nominate you, or you can nominate yourself, and you follow these certain steps that are in the email. And there's a nominating committee. So the current board of directors has nothing to do with who comes on the board. I mean, we don't choose the people who come on the board. It's a nominating committee that are people who are not on the board that goes through the applications, and they check references, and they go through all the questions and essays and all the kinds of things, and also choose the people that might fill the holes that we're having. So if we need somebody that's more of a treasurer, based, or has finance issues, we might need somebody that's more PR. Basically, we try to keep the board as well-rounded as possible, a good mix of agencies and nannies and newborn care specialists and all that kind of thing. We try to make it as well-rounded, as diverse. There's so many things that go into having the most well-rounded, best boards possible. But we encourage everyone to, if you feel that pull, to please apply.
And somebody just asked on the chat how many board members we need. And I'll just share it with everybody, because when you're listening to the recording, you don't get to see the chat. We currently have 10, but we can have up to 12.
Right, and not everybody that comes on might be re-upping. So it might be that we need more than 2. It might be that, so there's three members of the board, myself included, who are rotating off. They can reapply to be on the board or not. So anywhere from 0 to 3 of us, so it could be anywhere from 2 to 5, 2 to 7, no, 2 to 3,
Yeah,
2 to 5, 2 to 5.
It makes it so the way, like Laura said, there are 3 people that are their 2-year term is up this year, so they will have to basically reapply just like everybody else. So technically, since those 3 people's terms are up, there are at least 5 openings.
Right. So there's 5 openings, and they don't automatically get on just because they're already on.
Yeah,
right.
They have to go through the same process and be okayed by the nomination committee, as well as voted in by the membership.
Who's on the selection committee? There's 3 people on the selection committee. There's a committee chair, who is Marilyn what's her last name? How do you say that? Kuglian? I'm very bad with names.
Kuglius.
Kuglius. Thank you.
I think.
Yes. I don't know. And then 2 other INA members who serve on that committee. It's one of those committees that they have a lot of work for a couple of months of the year, and then they don't have a lot of work the whole rest of the year. So anyone can volunteer to be on any committee. Actually, all the committees love having people to help on them. And if you ever want to volunteer to be on any of the committees, all of the committees are listed in the on the website. And if you would like to volunteer, ask you can email Marcia or me with the committee chair and say, hey, I'd like to help. And I would be very surprised if anyone said no, because I know all of us are like, yes, please. We would love help. So if you're interested in the nominating and working on the nominating committee, I'm sure that that's something that they would be happy to have
Once
you help
you're
with.
an INA member, yes. You have to be an
If you're an INA member, yes.
committee, really. Yeah.
Yes. Any other questions about the serving on the board of directors or the nominating committee or anything like that? For me, no, I'm just kidding. My favorite thing. Okay, we were supposed to talk next about the Beaches Resort and Joelle.
I see 3 names on here that I don't recognize, and I'm just wondering, is someone from Beaches on here? We had them lined up, but I hadn't heard from them today, and I just want to make sure that that none of the people that I see listed here are actually from Beaches. If not, we're gonna just Laura and I were just gonna explain kind of what Beaches do, that like to best of our ability of what we know of what they're unique.
So Nuran or Alicia or Tisha, you're not from Beaches, correct?
Okay.
Correct. Okay. Marsha, I'll let you start since I think you know more than even I do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been working closely with Joelle and Heather from Beaches I've been working closely since I've been in the on the executive board, which I don't know that. I think I started on that about 6 years ago. But Beaches has actually been working with the International Nanny Association since 2011. So 10 years really. And the process that they've worked on, they have reached out to us. Their goal is to have all of their childcare workers that work within the resorts to be not only INA members, but also be educated. They actually work with different organizations to provide classes. They've worked with I can't remember the name of the company off the top of my head right now, but they've worked with a company in Florida to have their childcare providers educated in special needs like ADHD and autism and other specialties that families will then come to the resort, and the parents then have not just any caregiver, but like a real educated caregiver to work with their children with these special needs, and or just any child. And so they actually, all of their childcare providers are current members of the INA, and many of them have taken the basic skills assessment, and some of them have even in the past been able to take and pass the credential exam. So it's a really unique experience that they have, and they've worked really closely with the INA. In the past, they've actually had, they've brought up to 5 or 6 of their nannies coming to our conference as well. And they've donated things and supported us, our raffle in different ways like that too. But they've really been a great, example of a unique resort experience. And their goal is really to elevate and provide the families that come there with quality childcare while they're in this vacation home, essentially. So they have families who come back year after year after year to the same place because they know they're going to have a nanny, a child care provider that is there and that their kids love and that they are trusting. So I think it's a unique experience, and that's the best. That's what I know. I wish that they were here with us. Somebody just joined us too, but I don't think that they were from Beaches. So I wish that they were here with us, and I hope that we can get them back sometime, or maybe even do a blog post on them or something, maybe a webinar even, Sue, to get some of the information, just the unique experience that they have, and their desire to really provide not just somebody to watch their kids, but somebody to really love their kids and be with their kids, and during that time that they're on vacation, to really invest in them. So
well, and I don't know if any of you have been to Beaches with your kids, but we, my family, my work family, and I have gone to Turks and Caicos, and they have options too, and they train all of their options the same, which is a little different than a lot of all-inclusive resorts. So there's like kids club, which a lot of you are familiar with, maybe if you've been on a cruise or whatever, which is like small group care, and like a teen club and different age groups with these sort of group care things that are drop off for whatever. Or you can have like full-time nanny help, or you can just have like date night babysitting. So like it is a little bit different than a lot of other sort of um, those all-inclusive resorts or cruises, because not only are they trained and they invest in the education for them, but they also offer like a lot of different varieties. So that means if you work for them too, you can work in a variety of different ways, like more like a traditional nanny with kids, for a whole week, 8 to 5 or whatever, or you might be, have the option to do other things. It's cool.
Awesome. Well,
That's
if they pop in later, we'll let them
for
talk.
sure.
But
Yeah.
we'll move into our topic of the night, which is beginnings, because it's January and 2020 is behind us, and we can all say thank you to that. Not that 2021 has started out too wonderful, but I have high hopes that 2021 is going to be better overall than 2020. So to start our topic discussion, and you are all welcome to join us in our discussion, and I hope you all do, we are going to talk about beginnings. And if anyone has something that's on the top of their head about beginnings, we'll just go with it. If not, I have some questions to start us off, but anyone have anything that they want to talk about with beginnings?
I just wanted to introduce myself really quick. Now that there's a lull, I apologize, I'm a little late. I'm trying to sell my house. Anyway, I'm new here. I just became a member. I'm super stoked about it. My name's Melanie. I'm in Austin, Texas. Happy to be here. Just wanted to introduce myself. Hey, guys.
Welcome, Melanie. I'm Laura Schroeder. I'm the president of the INA, and Sue Downey here is one of the board members as well, and Marcia Hall is our executive director, and everyone else here is part of our town hall day. It's a small one today because I guess it's a Sunday night, but welcome. And I guess this goes on to the YouTube channel. Is that where they can find this whole thing?
Yep,
Afterwards?
if we have the YouTube channel, we'll share it on social media under the links that we had advertised this with too as well.
Because earlier we talked about a lot of the things that are coming up in the schedule and that kind of a thing. And also one of the things that I do, because you missed my wonderful talk about me, was every month I put in the beginning of the month, I put out a president's message. And in that I talk about some of the things that we're doing and some of the things that are coming up and some of my thoughts. And that was something that Tanya and I started when we're co-presidents. And we're just trying to make sure that everyone's getting the message of what's going on in the INA, and trying to be more transparent and trying to make sure everyone knows what's going on. And also I try to mention every month that if you ever have anything that you want to know or want to tell me or have a question, or I have an email. I am more than happy to listen. I can't promise that I'll solve the problem, but I promise to listen. I promise to get back to you. And we're always looking for ideas, and especially for ideas if you have a possible solution. I mean, that is the absolute best, because we are trying to make the INA better for everybody, and I don't know what's going to be better for everybody, because I only know what's better for me. So I love new voices, and I love hearing what other people think would be better. So if you have an idea or a solution or a problem, whatever, feel free to let me know. Feel free to let Marcia know, or any of the board members, and we'll see what we can do. So back to beginnings. How about we talk about what you'd like to accomplish professionally this year? Anybody have any goals that they'd like to accomplish? Natalie?
Hi. Yeah, I don't know, I just get really inspired at the beginning of each year. And recently, I've been a nanny for about 13, almost 14 years now. I just see a lot of Facebook groups lack professionalism. So, because there's a lot of young nannies, and I feel like this is a real career, and I feel like a lot of us don't take it that way, at least initially. and it can make the whole group seem kind of unprofessional. So I'm trying to put together some kind of course or presentation, not sure what platform I'm going to use yet, but just to kind of reach out to the younger nannies and just to kind of boost them up and show them that this is a real profession and you can take it to different levels, but you have to act professionally. So that is just something like it's bubbling up inside of me, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it out there. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on.
Well, good luck. I know Sue has been there, and and I've been there, and Marcia's been there. Marcia has a book. Um, Sue has Nanny Palooza. I have a group in Charleston where I live, where I do the same thing, and it's a constant struggle. But I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm always trying to raise the bar as well, and that's what the INA tries to do as well. I fully support what you're doing, and I'm glad you're here. Who else would like to share? Melanie?
I was just going to comment on Natalie. I'm in the same boat here. I actually run a couple of the local nanny groups, like a social nanny group and a newer job group here in Austin. And I see the same thing too, where, nannies are offering, like they do the nanny / babysitter. And I'm like, oh, it just makes me, so yeah, I'm totally up. If what I do periodically is I'll kind of share like tips, resources, especially during tax season, because there's a lot of nannies that don't get paid on the books, and that is a non-negotiable for me. Just kind of educating nannies into that stuff, because I've been at this. This is actually my 10 years right now. So I'm totally up for collaborating with you, Natalie, on those ideas if you want, if you need any help with that. But for sure. As far as other new beginnings, I think for me, like you mentioned, Laura, goals. I think this is one of them right here. I don't know why it took me so long to join you guys. But just furthering my education, like I said, I'm 10 years into this, and I've done the ongoing trainings, locally here in Austin. There's the yearly National Nanny Training Day. And I'm just kind of trying to go a little bit broader with that, and looking to join you guys for the conference this year as well. I just renewed my contract and I got an educational stipend. So this is where I'm going with it. So as far as me, this year, my goals are just making sure I'm getting the most out of this educational stipend and furthering my knowledge in nannying to anything new that's come up recently. There's always things changing, always more things that you can learn. So that's it for me.
I need to toot Sue's horn because she's in charge of International Nanny Training Day. So, and she's one of our board members, and she's phenomenal, and Nanny Palooza as well. And I don't know how she does it all personally, but this is why I love our organization, because I love just being in the midst of these people who have so much knowledge and so much to share, and why we need more people, because we learn from everybody. But I also want to introduce Kim Morgan, who just joined us, and she is our 2020 Nanny of the Year. Kim, can you say hi to us real fast?
Hey guys, I'm a hot mess.
Hey.
Everyone. Yeah, I'm here. Most of you, well, not the others, but Marcia, Sue, and Laura knows that I recently said goodbye to a part of me forever. I had a hysterectomy. It's been quite emotional. The recovery has been going amazing. Surprisingly to say, sorry about that. Surprisingly to say, I kind of did a little too much today and hurt myself. But yes, I'm passionate about this industry, and I strongly encourage every nanny to make that investment in themselves and even speak to their employers about it, because I know I've been very fortunate to have most of my employers paid for everything that I want to do. My last employer invested heavily in me. I'm currently heading to year 2 for the Newborn Care Solutions Elite Newborn Care Specialist program, and that's a strong part of them as well, even though I no longer work for them, that they did that. And I'm very grateful and blessed for all who have I have worked with thus far. And that's where my next passion is leading. And I'm proud to say, as of tomorrow, I'm officially a business owner. Oh, my career is taking me into that next field. Like there's a lot in store for this year, and I'm just praying for God guidance and blessing with it.
Kim, you're a truly inspiring story. People who know your whole story know that you are a true success story, and we're really proud to have you as our nanny of the year this year. And glad to know you as a friend as well as our
Yep.
nanny of the year.
That's that was an honor, greatly received. And yes, I thank you and Tanya for all the advice with this journey that I'm currently on, because you guys went through that as well. And I think hearing from both of you, knowing that I was leaning towards the ablation at first, and you said if I do it, there's slight chance that I can still experience what I was going through. And I knew I just couldn't go through all that pain again. And from those who doesn't know, I've suffered with endometriosis from since I was 23. And coupled with that is fibroids that just keep growing, and it's been affecting my work. Where, well, even though I have unlimited sick days, I feel guilty sometimes that I push myself to go to work and just like, okay, when the baby takes a nap, I'll get to rest. But at times it was just too much, too unbearable, and I just couldn't do it any longer.
Well, it fits with our theme of beginnings. You have a new beginning now, a new fresh body to take you into your new beginning with your new business, another new beginning. So we wish you the very best with that. Anyone else want to talk about a new beginning or a new goal for the new year?
Hi, Laura. This is Nancy. I'm with Nancy's Nannies in Morehead City, North Carolina. And I'm so happy to hear all of you so dedicated to your profession. I've been in business for 29 years, and believe me, the struggle has not changed. The comparisons between babysitters and nannies, I mean, it's still out there. Families call me all the time saying, oh, I need a babysitter. And then after some discussion, it's like they need her 40 hours a week. And I'm like, you don't need a babysitter, you need a nanny. There's a difference. Let's talk about it. So it's encouraging to me to know that there are nannies out there who are really pushing for the professionalism that this industry deserves. For myself, I'm hoping to stay in business one more year. My goal was to be in business 30 years, and I'm almost there, but then COVID hit. And so now it's a bit of a struggle. But what I'm planning to do this year is stay current with INA, webinars like this one. I hope to move into more counseling with families, because in my area, which is Eastern North Carolina, a lot of families want to do it themselves. They don't want to pay a fee. And it's like, okay, go ahead. If you want a consultant, if you want somebody to just talk things out with, I'm available for that too. So I'm kind of leaning in that way and hoping I'll have more of a chance to speak with a wider range of families who want to find their own caregivers. But, they're also dealing with caregivers who are, in a babysitter attitude thinking. And and it, as you all know, it doesn't always work well for either party. So anyway, I'm hanging in there one more year and we'll see what happens.
Well, best of luck to you with that. I have the same kind of plans for myself. I'm going to be 56 next month, and I want to make it to 65 nannying, and then I hope to go into kind of a consulting situation, because I figure my body won't make it to full-time nannying 60 hours a week beyond 65. But you know, I have so much knowledge that I've built up that I want to share still.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not really ready to step away from it. So yeah, well, good luck with that. And good best wishes to Kim in her nanny of the year. That's great.
Yeah, she's a very deserving candidate. I wanted to mention one thing, just I think it was Natalie who mentioned it. It's not always, I know it tends to be the younger nannies just because of lack of experience, but it's not always the younger nannies that have that kind of an outlook. And I do want to stick up for them sometimes, because I also run a support group in Charleston. And you know, I have some younger nannies who are really on the ball and are super professional, and you know, so I do want to say we can't always delineate younger versus older, because I have some older nannies that are horrible too. So I always like to try to make sure we don't delineate as younger and older. It's professional versus unprofessional. And you know, the unprofessional nannies are the ones that are putting their, you know, their prom pictures and their half naked pictures up, you know, to look for jobs, and you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I want to make sure that we say that, so that we're not pointing out people who are younger as not necessarily having it together, because I have some younger nannies in my group who are super fabulous, and some older nannies that are really horrible. And but we're working on it, you know. And what tends to happen, what I found with some of the older nannies, is they're doing it the same way they did it in the 70s, and they haven't they're not up to date. And I, as an older nanny myself, you know, I make a point of knowing all the newest things, knowing RIE and knowing attachment parenting, and knowing, you know, all the new things, because the parents ask for it. And so you can't do things the way you did in the 70s. You have to know everything, whether you necessarily agree with it or not, and be up to date on all your training. So it's not old versus young, it's professional versus unprofessional. I just wanted to point that out. So anyone else on that? We can go on to what might you need to let go of? You know, what kinds of things might you need to let go of to reach your goals? Sometimes we have baggage that we need to kind of leave behind to reach our goals. Does anyone have anything like that? I know Kim left behind her uterus, but but anything besides that? Sorry, Kim, I had to.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Mine's gone too, so you know.
For me, I'm gonna say stop dwelling so much on the negative things that people say about me. One of the things that really hurt, and I think I can't remember if I shared this with you, Laura, in our last conversation based on what transpired in the INA group. Some screenshots were shared with me, with conversations with some people who I thought were my friends, or were becoming my friends, and some other leaders in this industry, right after I won NOTI. And I mean, I cried because it was truly hurtful, the things that I read. And I honestly wanted, like, you guys know, I'm pretty much open with what I want to share on social media. There's still aspects of my life that I keep private to those very close to me. And I was so hurt that I wanted to plaster all of those on top of social media and exposing some of the weakness within this industry. And the advice of my aunt, my former employer, who's really close, and she's like, "Him, we know you're better than that. We know you're deserving." Because I didn't ask to be nominated for NOTI. Sue Downey, lovely and infamous Sue Downey, approached me in my inbox and said, "I am going to nominate you." And I'm like, "Really? You sure? You sure that's what it takes?" And she was like, "Yes." And then my employer came home the same day, and I'm like, "Were you talking to Sue today?" And she's like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "The lady who ran Nanny Palooza." And she's like, why? So I said, because and I showed her the message between Sue and I. And, for them to say, oh, why all of a sudden the INA decided to choose a Black nanny for the first time during all the chaos and stuff that was going on. And it hurts so badly. For them to say that and knowing they're my same Black people, and I thought they were happy, but it hurt. And I had to explain the whole process that the INA Board of Directors does not choose who becomes NOTI. It's my peers, you understand? And I'm glad that it was done blindly. And I asked for that to continue this year, where all the information that could identify the candidate is redacted, because had it not done, they might have looked to say it's favoritism again, and even so, though it's done, they're like, oh, they choose the most popular Black girl. That's on social.
I'm so sorry, Kim. I mean, they don't understand that you were nominated way before all those things happened last year. I mean, you were nominated in the fall of 2019, the summer of 2019.
And that's why I keep finding myself, like, in order for me to feel better, like to explain the process. And I'm like, my writing did this for me, because that's what they read, what I wrote. And that's what they never knew who we were. I said there were several Black candidates there that could have been chosen, that was deserving. But they thought my writing was better, and I was chosen for it. And I've struggled with that from since June of last year, because that's when
I'm so sorry.
the screenshots of.
My heart hurts for you so badly, and I can attest to you right now. I am the person that goes through and makes everything blind. Nobody knew anything about. I mean, it was redacted. Anything.
We don't even know on the board. We don't even know who the candidates are. We have no knowledge
who the candidates are until they're announced to the public. It is kept that. I mean, other than the committee that is part of
right.
the board.
Committee, the selection committee.
The committee does not make the decision. The committee selects a selection panel. The panel is given documents which I redact painfully, like through one at a time. I redact all personal information. I redact even like cities and where they are, the names of families that you've worked for, if you've said that, anything that I think is identifiable. We actually have a process where we make sure that the selection committee or the selection panel doesn't have a personal relationship with any of the candidates as well, the nominees as well. And we do that so that the selection panel still doesn't know who they are. We take really good care to keep that private. And so the selection panel has no idea who it is that they're evaluating. We ask the nominees to not share that information with anyone, that they've even been nominated. So I know that there's a lot of confusion, and we're working really hard to try to like make that clearer. I think that it's never been an intention to make it unclear. It's just sometimes when we do things, it's hard to know what you need to know. It's hard to know what the public needs to know, and we're working really hard to make it clear. But Kim, my heart hurts for you so badly, because I know that what you experienced is incorrect. That's not, that isn't how it happens. So.
And then each category, there's like so many different categories, and then they pick a number for each category, and then the numbers are added up. So they're not even picking a person. They're grading each little thing, and then everything's added up. So
all done with the rubric, and
right, it's a complicated rubric.
They send in their evaluation, and they don't know how everybody else on the selection panel, that the selection panel doesn't even know who else is on the selection panel.
Right.
It is all kept separate, and in my brain until it comes out. And you know, we do everything that we can to keep it as clear and cut as possible, and unfortunately it's not, it's still, we still need to work on that clarity, I guess.
It just so happened that our first African-American nanny of the year was named right when these riots and all were coming out in America. And so some people took that to mean that we were fixing something that obviously we did not, but people think what they think. And we can't really help that. So back to beginnings. We talked about what we'd like to accomplish professionally this year and things that we might need to let go of. And I think what Kim said about letting go of negative things was a wonderful thing. We need to let go of those negative thoughts and those things that hold us back, especially those things that we tell ourselves, that we can't accomplish things and that we are not good enough and that we can't make $30 an hour or whatever it is. I confront that all the time with people that, you know, I couldn't possibly make that. I'm not good enough, or and it's not true. If you're that kind of person that does have that giving and doing heart. And like Natalie was saying earlier, the ones that say, oh, I won't do that. I'm just a nanny. I only take care of the kids. I'm not going to wipe your counter for you, or whatever, whatever it is that they say they won't do. You know, I'm the nanny that will do everything that I possibly can. Children will always come first, but I'm there to make your life as easy as possible. I'm there to give and to, that's the kind of nanny I am. And that's why people always want to hire me and always want to pay me more, and because I'm such an addition to their home. But it is what it is. So you can talk about either of those topics, or maybe what you learned, something you learned from last year that you might want to use to grow this year. Anyone have anything they'd like to add on any of those topics? And welcome, Daniel. Good to see you. Who else would like to talk about their beginnings?
I really don't know how anybody can like follow that.
I know we've had nothing but wonderful stories today.
I guess I'll share this, you know, kind of this beginning. It's hard to feel like a beginning for me personally, because it hit usually at the beginning of a year. I feel this energizing, refreshing, and I just don't right now. And the reason is because my kids are still in virtual school. Absolutely nothing has changed, and I'm still trying to deal with what we dealt with in 2020 on top of other things, and trying to navigate this really, really tough place where you're like, you got to try to find a way to make this world, like, survive in this world, not get depressed, not lose your sight of things, not all of these things. And I'm still trying to, I feel like I'm just right back where I was. My kids' school is like, once again, possibly going back in person. My husband and I are not comfortable with that. I feel like I'm right back where I was in September trying to make that decision. And so it's hard for me to feel like it's a new beginning right now. I guess that's just what I wanted to share. So, and I feel like that's okay though. It's not like a bad thing. And the thing that I have to realize is every day can be a new beginning. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to be the beginning of a school year or the beginning of a calendar year. And I'm trying to wrap my brain around that, like how to not get bogged down in, it's a new beginning for a lot of people, but doesn't feel like a new beginning for me, you know? So I guess I don't think it really answers the question either, but it's where I'm at. So
I guess what I want to ask, I'm just blown away with meeting some of you guys and getting to know some people that I did know better today. And what I want to ask is, how will you grow your support system this year? I mean, how will you, because we all need support. And so have you thought at all about how you might grow that support system. You might already have a great support system, but anyone given that any thought? Daniel?
My support system is covered, but if anybody needs someone, I have some free time.
Awesome. And a website to build.
I will say, as far as support systems, I'm also good, but of course I'm open if anybody wants to join. A few of my nanny friends and I started a weekly girl chat or nanny chat. Doesn't have to be just girls. Every Friday night, since the initial lockdown, at least for the Austin area back in March, and we have faithfully done that every single week through all the ups and downs of all of this. And I got to tell you, it's keeping me going, because 2020 has been crazy. And I like, Daniel, that you had a great year, because we always try to remember those good things. And I know when we look back at 2020, I'm sure there's like a lot of awfulness, but it's important to look back and remember what was good. And what I keep forgetting, and which I shouldn't, is the fact that I'm a foster parent, and we had a successful reunification in May of 2020. Our kids went back home to their bio parents, and case is closed. They're done successfully. It was amazing. So it's so important to like look back and remember that 2020, that was an awesome thing to accomplish in 2020. And so as far as new beginnings, you know, I've been talking to my friends, because we always go through like a New Year's resolution. What's your goal? What's your big thing for 2021 that you want to accomplish? And, you know, I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? We've been through a lot in 2020. Why don't we just give ourselves a break? That should be our goal. Just take a moment and just relax and give yourself permission to do that. We're always going, we're always trying to fix everything. We've done enough. We've been through a crazy year. 2021 is still looking pretty hard, but we're doing it. We're figuring it out. We're adapting. Give yourself a break. So that's at least my perspective.
Anybody else like to share anything? Anything at all? Nancy?
Yeah, I was just going to say, well said, Melanie. We need to give ourselves a break and be okay when we make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes, and we need to remember that all the great ideas happened after many, many mistakes. So yeah, we can give ourselves a little break.
Well, I wanted to say one thing to Daniel. I'm also a recovering depressive. And people always say I'm the happiest depressive person they've ever met, and because you know it's just a neurological brain chemistry thing, and you know once I got the brain chemistry figured out, it's great. And one thing that makes a difference for me is gratitude. You know, every day, usually multiple times a day, I say what I'm grateful for, and I'm grateful for so much. And I live in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina, and I drive into work at 7 a.m, and the sunrise over the Charleston Harbor is, oh my gosh. I mean, I thank God when I see it every day, that I live in this beautiful place. I mean, it's just amazing. And that I do the work that I love, and that I have a family that I love. And I mean, just there's so much to be thankful for. Yes, I have had lots of really shitty stuff in my life, you know, as we all have, you know, but the great stuff way overpowers that. And I think that when I think of beginnings, I think of dwelling on the good and putting the negative, making peace with it, not shoving it, not shoving it down with food or alcohol or drugs or anything like that, making peace with it, but not giving it the power, giving the power to the good things in your life and making your life as good as you can make it, because it's short. Let me tell you, at 56, I keep feeling the time ticking, especially since I had COVID pretty badly this year. And it was scary. It was scary being in a hospital room, not being able to breathe and having no family there and thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to go on a ventilator and not wake up?
Yeah.
It really gives you perspective. And I'm happy for that perspective, because it gives me, why I'm not worrying about, am I eating too much or having an extra glass of wine on a Friday night? It's all right. It's all right, because I'm living my life, Anything that anyone else would like to say about anything? I am so positive about the way the direction of the INA is going. I think that we have some great members on our board. I'd love to see new board members. Tomorrow we are opening up the board, the membership for the board. If you want to join, I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Look for your email tomorrow. A lot of things are opening up. Nominations for Meritorious Service Awards, nominations for your service award pins. Somebody said they were 10 years. Was it you, Natalie, or was it
Melanie?
Melanie, 10 years. You can get if you're a member, you can get your 10-year service pin. So look for that tomorrow. And
I wasn't sure. I saw that when I was going over the videos as a new member. I saw that, but I was going to ask if that was something that I could apply for, being a new member. I wasn't sure. So that's awesome.
There's a process, but you can do that. And Nancy, Miss, 35 years or 39 years or something? Be sure you're getting your pins.
Yeah, 29 years. I have not applied for that pin, but every time it comes up, I think about it, and I just haven't done it. So
well, if you want to wait one more year and get your 30 year next year, that would be awesome.
That would be.
It's you can there's a 5-year increment. So we have a 5-year pin, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
You could apply for 25 year this year and then 30
you get 30 next year. There you go. So that'll work. Well, it has been my honor to talk with all you guys tonight. It's been really good to get to know you and to share with you a little bit about what's going on and talk about beginnings. And Kim, I hope you feel better soon. Daniel, I can't wait to hear about your new bundle of joy when he or she arrives. And Melanie, good luck with everything. Natalie, good luck with your new endeavors. And Nancy, you make it to your 30 year. You hang in there. And Alicia and Kelsey, I'm sorry we didn't get to hear from you, but I'm glad you joined us. And Marcia, as always, we'll talk tomorrow as we do every day. And it was a great night. So thank you so much for joining us. And I think that's it. Bye, y'all.